Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for being here. Today we're bringing what I believe is a Backerkit preview for Moonrollers, a standalone 2 to 5 player, I think, if I'm counting the number of cubes correctly, pressure luck game from Ivy Studios, one of our favorite publishers, in the Moonrakers, which is a punishing head-to-head squabble for control, kind of bluffing, sort of negotiating, certainly deck-building game that has been wildly successful. This is a pressure luck game, small box, accessible, and brilliant. Now, just for the record, this is our first ever, if this really is on Backerkit, our first ever Backerkit video, which means many of you are not familiar with that platform. There's been a few big projects over there, but it's one of the new crowdfunding sites in the board game space. A lot of you know it as the pledge manager for many of your Kickstarter pledges, similar to GameFound in a lot of ways. I will leave a link in the top of this video description so you can go sign up and back Moonrollers, along with the release of a mini expansion. Dark Matter, I believe, is what it's called. I don't have it here to show off. It's a set of cards that are going to be mixed in. I know the people that like Moonrakers want to have it all. And so far, every expansion they've released has only continued to make the game better and better for me. We have a big box with everything mixed in. It all stays in there, and we love it. This, for the record, is not a sponsored video in any way. We do have a friendly relationship with Ivy Studios. We have worked with them in the past, and they did send me this prototype, but we are not being paid to talk about it, which is why I'm going to feel very comfortable reviewing it and letting you know where and how it falls in our lineup of games. I do love the stuff that Ivy Studios has put out, and that is no exception here. While this is a smaller box, lighter game, this is probably the most accessible, quickest playing game they've released so far. I love the artwork. I love the style. I think the pressure luck mechanics work really well. They're very fun. If it's your type of game, you will enjoy it. If it's not your type of game, I don't know what to tell you. Why are you still watching? No, I mean, go somewhere else, right? Check out some Gloomhaven or some Terraforming Mars. But if you like small box pressure luck style games or you love Moonrakers, this is going to be the perfect companion for you. By the way, if you're wondering every now and then why I look like I'm in excruciating pain and I have a awkward lisp, it's because I am, working on these, and I just got today a coil put in and a heavier wire. For any of you that have had braces before, you know that means that my mouth is trying to work itself around metal that shouldn't be in there while my teeth are trying to twist themselves into a formation they never signed up for, and my body's slowly screaming because every single time I click my teeth together, it hurts slightly more, while my tongue gets tangled up in all the cables, wires, and hardware stretching across the roof of my mouth. So all those comments saying, "Why do you sound funny? Where'd that lisp come from? That's not how you used to talk." I still have long dramatic pauses. I just sound a little bit more nerdy. All right, on to Moonrollers. Moonrollers, like I said, set in the Moonrakers universe, is going to be a pressure luck game where you are rolling dice to collect the various different symbols that you're familiar with from Moonrakers already. We have shields, we have blasts, we have boosts, we have extra dice, we have a wild symbol, and you're going to be using these symbols to collect cards from a marketplace. Everyone around the table will be contributing to certain missions. Just like you do in Moonrakers, you're all working together. Except, at the same time, you're not. You can complete objectives to score victory points. Like this blue one would be 2, this yellow one would be 2, the shield would be 2, and the blaster objective would be 1. And whenever that card is completed fully, you'll score those corresponding victory points. You can also get victory points from the exclamation symbol, resulting in drawing 2 different tokens and choosing to keep 1. A little bit of a pressure luck when it comes to points, because if you have the most warning symbols on the back of these tokens, more points have more symbols, you won't score any of them at the end of the game. But if you're anywhere in the middle or at the very bottom, you'll score all of them that you've taken. So why not grab as many as you can and hope that your lucky stars pay off. But that's not where the actual heart and soul of the game comes from. The heart and soul of this game comes down to how you actually trigger endgame and how you resolve these cards. You see, the last person to complete an objective will take the card over into their tableau. So if everyone else had already contributed to 3 out of the 4 missions, and you swoop in with your lucky dice roll and get that last combination of dice that you need, you will take that card. That card will have a special ability on it. We'll go through those here in just a moment, at least the ones I can show off. And if you get a set of 5 different colored cards, you'll trigger Endgame, along with lots of victory points. Or, if you get a set of 3 of the same color card, you'll also, of course, trigger Endgame. That's where the crux of this comes down to, the pressure luck of how far do you want to push, when do you want to risk it to get that card that you desperately need, do you want to contribute to a mission that everyone else is ignoring because it's going to make you so you can trigger Endgame, giving other people an opportunity to potentially steal it from you. There's a lot of back and forth, a really healthy dance here, and the powers and abilities are a lot of fun. But zooming back to the beginning of this conversation, I haven't really told you how this game plays, other than rolling some dice, doing some missions. Let's zoom into that element of this game and talk about how it works. I have a hand of 5 dice. I have a backup squadron of 7 dice. On my turn, I will roll all 5 dice, and I will choose a card that I want to start working on a mission for. I can only do 1 card during a turn. I can only do 1 mission during a dice roll. Right here, I have a wild, 2 blue, a yellow, and an orange. So, looking around these, I might go for a card that matches. I might go for a card that already has some elements of it complete if other players have gone before me. I might go for a card whose ability I want to get down the road. Right now, though, because I'm sitting with 3 potential blues, because I can use that wild here, I will go ahead and work on Cal. I'll mark this as having completed. I will take the corresponding token. I'll take 2 and choose 1. This time I want to take the 1 without any warning signs on it instead of the 2, which has a single warning sign on the back of it. And now I have a decision. I can press my luck by rolling the 2 remaining dice that I have. Now, there is a 1 shield here that would give me more hidden secret points and score me points when this card goes ahead and triggers. But the odds of me rolling that are a little bit low. Here's the question. If this card was already complete, maybe I would go ahead and go for it. Or, if I have special powers and abilities that allow me to manipulate my dice, maybe then it's worth pressing my luck. For instance, some of these cards will allow you to turn normal dice into wild dice, or normal dice into extra dice, letting me pull from the pool of dice over here. Let's say, for instance, I had rolled this purple +1. That means when I decide to press my luck, I'll pull this over, and I'll be rolling 3 dice in the next round. They continue to escalate and multiply on top of each other. But here's the problem. If I am not able to contribute a mark, and I don't choose to back out, I bust. If I bust, I lose everything I've done up to this point. That's the risk. Now, let's do another example. Let's go ahead and roll and see if we get that green shield, which we got a wild symbol. I'm going to go ahead and claim that green shield for myself, and I'm gonna back off there. This is getting a little too hot and heavy for my liking. But let's say the game goes around the board, everyone rolls, they all contribute a little bit here and there, and we're going to go ahead and say someone has marked off the last section of this card, and it's back to my turn. Again, I'm rolling 5 dice. And this time, I'm looking for 4 blasters, or thrusters. So I have 2 right now, a wild symbol, and 2 dice left. Here's the risk. I am going for this. I want to claim this card. I am marking this card as being the one that I am hunting for. But if I don't roll a thruster on this next turn, I bust and I lose everything I've collected so far, and someone else gets to take a swing at it. Rolling, and I got an extra dice, but I didn't get a thruster, meaning all of my progress goes away, including anything else I would have closed off during the course of that game, and the game progresses around to the next player. This creates a really healthy atmosphere of always egging on the other players to push a little bit harder, or having situations where really risking the biscuit is what you have to do to close out the game, to score victory points, or to get that special ability you're looking for. Let's go ahead and talk about these special abilities, because I think they're going to give you some insight into how the rest of this game operates. Because as you get a tableau, you'll usually start with a single card as a special ability. You'll have some starting cards in the deck, and then as you build a tableau, you have to make decisions around what special abilities you keep. You can only have 1 special ability of each individual color, and these special abilities will all start linking and tying together. Okay. Number 1, Soul. If your rolling pool is 1 to 3 dice, meaning you're on your second or third roll, you're risking it because you only have a few dice left in your hand, each die locked this roll is treated as 2 thrusters. So an extra thruster boost if you have dice already locked off to the side. We have Saltar. You may re-roll all dice from your first roll. A nice mulligan, a good ability to have. Nella may treat the extra die symbol as 2 thrusters. There you are, a little bit of manipulation. You don't get the extra die, but you can get a bonus thruster from that first roll. Sometimes that's enough to close off the card. Like that 4 thruster card, that would have been perfectly fine. Ada may treat the extra die as 2 reactors. OK, or AT-OK. If you roll +2 shields, you cannot bust on your next roll. So you got some defense in there. It's worth pressing your luck then. If you roll +2 reactors, you may re-roll any number of dice. Very good mulligan. That's a manipulative mulligan too. May treat an extra die as 2 shields. There you are. If your rolling pool is 1 to 3 dice, you cannot bust if you roll at least 1 extra die symbol. So a very specific cannot bust, but really secures your press the luck ability later on in the game, makes that risk a little bit less. Any damage from your first roll may be treated as extra dice. There you're converting your damage symbols into dice, so you can go and dip into the pool of 7 extra dice you have available. May treat extra dice as 2 damage, so there's another modular. If you roll no damage, roll 1 supply die and keep a wild or an extra die. So you get a chance to see if you grab a wild or you grab an extra die, which is very powerful. If you roll 2 thrusters, you may treat one of your dice as an extra die. If you roll exactly 1 wild, you may treat it as an extra die. Nice. If you roll exactly 1 thruster, you may treat it as a wild. If your rolling pool is 1 to 3 dice, each die locked this roll is treated as 2 reactors. Very nice. If your rolling pool is 1 to 3 dice, each die locked this roll is treated as 2 damage. If you roll no shields, you may draw 1 hazard. So taking a risk, but getting points that score at the end of the game, because points are where it counts. If you roll no extra dice, you may treat any 1 die as a wild. These are very powerful. Rolling no extra dice is common, and having the ability to convert anything to a wild basically gives you a free slot. If you roll exactly 1 shield, you may treat it as a wild. If you roll all wild, you gain 2 extra die. Whoa! That's hard to do, but also, if you only have 1 or 2 dice, maybe it's worth pushing your luck, because this would let you revitalize your entire mission. If you roll exactly 1 damage, you may treat it as a wild. You may treat the extra die as a wild. If you roll no reactors, you may re-roll at least 2 dice. If you roll 3 thrusters, finish the current requirement. There you go, an immediate requirement burst. If your rolling pool is 1 to 3 dice, each die locked this roll is treated as 2 shields. Gain 1 prestige after busting. That's cool, gives you an incentive to just start busting now. If you roll 2 damage, roll 2 supply die, and keep any that are wild. Your rolling pool starts with 6 dice. Cal is an awesome card. If you roll exactly 1 reactor, you may treat it as a wild, and 1 wild from your first roll may be saved for your next roll. So every faction has the same set of core 4 cards or so, and then variations that split off based on what color and what type of card they are. But they give you the opportunity to mitigate how risky each different decision you make in the game is, meaning that as you get cards from your tableau and you build out your deck, and other players do the same, they're all weighing their odds, seeing what they can manipulate, how they can twist and turn their luck and their dice, and I guarantee they are pressing their luck at the wrong time, and they are busting along the way. That's Moonrollers. That's what this is. A small box, accessible little game. Listen, if you own Moonrakers, it's a no-brainer. Go back this. Go support an amazing publisher who cares about the community and puts out fantastic games. If you don't own Moonrakers, and this sounds good to you, maybe go check out some Moonrakers content, because if you like something that has a little bit of push your luck, a lot of player interaction, and some cool manipulations, then that deck building game just might be your speed, and I wouldn't be surprised if you'd be able to get it and most of its expansions alongside this in the Pledge Manager. Either way, If you're still here watching, hit that subscribe button down below. We do board game stuff. We talk about board games. I've been yelled at a lot. People tell me to do board games, Board Game Boy, and so I'm board gaming Board Game Boy and girls out there when available. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Whatever the case, whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Eat sardines on Thursday. We'll see you later. Bye.